Hey everyone, Sketch Card Hive here. Today we have an amazing episode for my 10th episode of the Collector Series. I've been with you for a long time now through YouTube. You've seen me on the podcasts. I've been everywhere for a long time. This is kind of my own series and me kind of deciding to do things my way and spread my wings a little bit. And of course, I was fortunate enough to have two very good friends now, TJ and Diego. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Awesome,
Awesome.
man. Thanks. How are you?
So glad to have you guys here. These are amazing special guests that work at, you guessed it, Upper Deck. We're going to have some really cool content and talking about upcoming sets, as well as diving deeper into some really amazing inserts that make the Marvel card brand, in my opinion. So one of the major things I just want to do first is have them introduce themselves to you guys so you guys can have a better understanding of what they do at Upper Deck and kind of their experience with Marvel cards. So we'll start with Diego. I'm sorry, it was a 50-50 choice. I'm not doing it on purpose, buddy.
No worries.
Just let me know. Just introduce yourself and let us know
Of
what you
course.
do and stuff like that.
My name's Diego Yanto. I'm an associate brand manager at Upper Deck, and I handle the communications between us and Marvel. My main projects are the MCU projects. So I've done most of the cinematic stuff that has come out besides Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision. And then I have a few sprinkled products in there as well, like Anime Volume 2, which is also one of my babies. Passing
So
over to
you,
TJ, or go
well,
ahead.
let me say this to you, Diego.
Yeah.
You're killing it. You're amazing. I remember what it was like before you got here, and you are obviously the person that's getting us some of these amazing autographs. And you are obviously one of the geniuses behind the inscription situation there, and pairing up the dual autos too. I think you guys are nailing that. It's very cinematic. It's very much from the mind of someone who knows the movies, and I'm very appreciative of the pairings and the way you're doing that. It's really
That
awesome.
is great compliments, but I can't take all of that. We have just an amazing team who kind of puts together this content as well, and it's hands down some of the best stuff that I've seen in a long time.
It's so good. It's so good. TJ, let me in, brother. Tell me.
All right. How's it going, guys? I'm TJ Shevlin, and I am the senior content coordinator on all things Marvel publishing here at Upper Deck. I got hired because I know comic books. I tell everybody that all the time. Been working in the comics industry for about 20 years, and being able to take what I love and bring it over to what we're doing at Upper Deck, it's been an absolute joy. I mean, like every kid in the 90s, my comics education came from the back of trading cards and led me to all the comic books that I would start collecting. And, now I'm hoping I get to rot the brains of the next generation of kids.
I can't think of a more noble cause, my friend.
Dude,
It's good, man.
Halloween,
I
it's
like my
candy
brain being
and
warped
cards and
back.
comic books.
That's what
It's
it is,
really
man.
cool to see how, like, the past, how all these things have influenced us, and now that we find ourselves here, we're just like, oh man, this is great.
It's
Oh,
the
it's awesome.
best.
It's awesome. You guys are just doing the coolest job in the world. I mean, I know all my viewers are envious of it. It's one of those things where you grow up with these cards, you feel like you know them intimately, and what you guys are putting in practice is the reverse engineering of being like, okay, what made this great? How do we bring it back?
Yep.
And there's been some amazing decisions happening on my end that I'm seeing as a consumer and a fan that I'm just so happy with. We were just talking briefly about this, the booklets. My God, I was talking to Grant a long time ago, and Grant told me straight out, he was like, this is going to rock you. And I was like, yes, it is. Because he's hinted it. He told me a little bit off air, and I was like, oh, that's probably one of the coolest things ever made, in my opinion. And then this is not, I get excited about things, so people take it wrong. But because they think I'm like pumping something like this. It's not a pump. It's the essential of Marvel DNA is to see the beginning and a journey of the character through these cuts. It was a great idea. Like, tell me a little bit more about the booklets. You were telling me a little bit, TJ, about some
Sure.
decisions you made. And I have to say, man, it's very cool.
Thank you. This is actually really timely. Next week is my 2-year anniversary here, and day 2 when I started here, I got put on Marvel Beginnings Volume 2 Series 1, not knowing how to build trading card sets, not knowing anything about the way we do stuff at Upper Deck. But it was one of those things where I don't know. I must have mentioned something about like, oh yeah, one of my favorite costumes is Yellow Jacket. John Buscema's genius. This, that, and the other. And Grant was like, "Oh man, comics, awesome. Here's what's gonna happen." So, Lineage booklets were the first thing that I worked on for that because of just kind of how massive an undertaking it was going to be. But I was really excited on it because I got to choose who the characters were going to be, and kind of having that sort of control over, oh well, I love this character and I love that character. Who do I want to see in there? Was a lot of fun. So I'm looking at my checklist right now for the Lineage booklets, and the I knew for sure, because of like what a big deal this set was going to be, we had to have Spider-Man in there. But I was kind of self-serving, and I feel like both of you guys being Silver Surfer guys, you know what it is when you have a favorite character and you want to make sure that they're everywhere. So I knew going in there were 3 characters that were going to be in the Lineage booklets. Spider-Man obviously was the big one. The second one was Doctor Doom, because the very first comic book I ever bought, 1991, was Amazing Spider-Man 350, Spider-Man versus Doctor Doom. And then the third character who made it in there, and he's a character I put in every set that I work on, was the Beast. Beyond that, it was, all right, game on. What are we going to do? Who are fans going to be excited about? Who's a character that I think would benefit from being in an insert like this? And I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, who's listening, who may have not seen it, I mean, it starts with Blade and it ends at X-23, and all the characters in between itself were so much fun. But I think the character that I was most excited to do a Lineage booklet for, oh man, there
Look
we
at that.
go.
Beautiful.
What did I do there? I did Kirby, I did Buscema, I know
You
there's a
knew what you were
Marshall
doing.
Rogers in there, there's a Ron Lim, there's a Defenders issue in there. I think it's like Defenders issue 2.
Yeah, baby.
I did,
First appearance of
yeah.
Surfer. You nailed
That's,
that.
yep, first
You
one,
nailed
yep.
that. No, you did good. You did. This one
So
especially. This was especially good because I saw you guys use this as the promotional material for
I
your
was
stuff,
very
and
excited.
book ending like the Surfer looking away on both ends. I was just like,
Oh yeah.
someone
Oh,
took
that's
the
I
time.
think
awesome.
Someone took the time.
the Lineage booklet I was most excited to work on, though, and this is where the job is a lot of fun, was Hank Pym, because the panels that I got to do with him, there was Ant-Man, Giant Man, Goliath, Yellow Jacket, and then Goliath again, I think it was. But it was to ensure that we got to every costumed identity for Hank Pym that he's had in 60 years. So
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
that's good, and that's a good range too. I have to say that's pretty
Yeah.
fun. That's amazing, man. So for when you assemble these booklets, I mean, I remember seeing the video on YouTube and talking to Grant about Bobby doing the old comic cuts back in the
Hmm.
day, because there's a video online that you guys posted where he's doing and stuff like that. Has much changed? What happened there? Like, how's that process going? That must be a lot of fun to pick.
That process has changed greatly, and in a way that I am so happy for, because I love the booklets and I love the clippings. I think it's a genius insert. I can't bring myself to cut comic books. And it used to be the coordinator's job to do all the cuts.
Yeah,
And like it would physically pain me to do something like that. So our team in North Carolina does all that, and I'm so grateful for them, because number one, they're fantastic at this. They're so good at keeping all these insane ideas together and in order. But it's kind of, uh, I love hot dogs. I don't want to know how hot dogs are made. It's
that's
kind of the
actually
way I
very fun.
feel
That's very
about
true. That's a good
comic
one. I like that.
clippings. So
Yeah. I like that. I mean, I remember having this conversation and everybody was cringing, and I'm kind of like, no, the old reader copies, they're falling
yes.
apart. There's
Hmm.
such deterioration already. They're yellowing, all this kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
not, it's I always hear that as a complaint, but I don't think people understand how much you guys and then this is, don't let me speak for you, but I imagine that there's always like, well, we're not going to get a 9.8 and cut it up because budget wise, why would that even
No.
make sense? Right. Of course not. Right. So it's always these reader copies that were
Yeah,
very
and
loved,
even
very
ones with
cherished.
covers that are still intact, but the covers aren't great, it's kinda like the mentality of, like, using the whole buffalo, like, we're gonna use the cover
That's the way I like
to
it.
use for, like,
Makes sense.
for a cover cut at some point, so,
Well, I'm seeing
everything
a
gets
lot of
used.
interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of really interesting decisions there with that. Diego, what's going on,
Yeah,
man? You surfer fan. You didn't tell me that. You got all quiet. You didn't
I
say
know,
nothing.
I
I
know.
got this good stuff behind me. You got all shy.
I didn't mean to put you on
That's not cool,
blast.
man.
I'll be honest, I was working on my collection when I first started here about 3 years ago, and I was turned on to you on my radar on YouTube, and I started seeing all the things you had, and I was like, "Oh, man, I'll never come close to this." Um
I got extras. I send you stuff for
Oh,
free, buddy.
man.
You don't
Oh,
even have to be
buddy.
shy with me. Seriously, I will send
That's
you stuff.
awesome. That's amazing. But yes, Silver Surfer is my guy just because I do surf and he is the only surfing superhero. So I had to tune in on him. So I've got some Metal Universe Silver Surfer cards, some older Impel stuff, and of course I have my hologram somewhere around here.
That's what's up, brother from another mother. That's what it is right there.
Heck
Good
yeah.
job, man.
Heck
I
yeah.
love that. Beautiful. Okay, so we got a little off topic with Bogus. That's my fault. I do that on this channel all the time. I'm the worst. Let's talk about upcoming sets a little bit. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's get into some MCU stuff here.
Oh,
Diego,
okay.
what do you want to bring to the table, if anything?
So yeah, I've got stuff to bring up definitely. I'm sure you saw that. So the last set that came out was Doctor Strange 2. I feel like that had a great oncoming presence. Especially the booklet cards coming out of that set were just amazing. The
Yeah,
autographed booklet cards.
they're beautiful.
But looking at our calendar, the next set I think we have coming out on the MCU is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh,
Previews for that for those cards have been coming out on social media, and I have been loving it. There's just a psychedelic nature of all the designs in that show, and just the movie itself was very just all over the place visually, and we definitely tried to capture that. I'm not sure if you've seen the solicitations for it, but
yes, it's
those are
amazing. Well, you
those are
guys
my
absolutely.
babies.
Oh, they're amazing babies. You nailed it because and what's great about it too, obviously because you're a fan, you know this, but Love and Thunder was really the first MCU movie to touch on Kirby art, right? That was the
Yeah,
first one to really get into like what it would look like, the
yeah.
color scheme,
Oh
like it was
yeah,
really great.
awesome.
And something that you guys did in Madness, in Doctor Strange Madness, was a beautiful insert that was very psychedelic, and it was a character one. I was lucky enough to pull, and I have it here, and it was awesome. Like I was so blown away by that. And then when I saw the solicitations for Thor, Love and Thunder, I was like, oh, this is like the hammer size card. Jane
hmm
Foster's gorgeous on there. There's some beautiful foiling. I'm really looking forward to that one. That one looking really well designed.
Definitely expect more of that beautiful foiling. We've been working with this company on this new pattern foil board, and it's something that I've kind of been hyping up a lot. Was that are we're looking at these new foil boards that create depth to everything, and you can kind of see it in the Moon Knight set, the Chambers of the Gods, or the
No,
Shattered
awesome.
Reflections.
I'm so
That's the
mad at you.
one.
That was so stupid good. I opened that up and lost my mind on camera. You could see it. Yeah, like it's recorded, it's on YouTube. I saw, I was like, this has no business being this good. And this like depth, it looks like a thick card because there's so
hmm
much depth in the foiling. It's amazing.
hmm The other cool thing about those cards is when you print on top of them, the reflections will pick up that ink around it, and it kind of like has this glowing effect to it. But yeah, that's card tech I can go on all day about.
That's no,
But
I love
if
card tech. Hey, we're I can't keep you guys here all day, laws and
oh,
stuff,
I
whatever.
think you picked
But
the right guys for this. I'm
Mhm.
I'm the tech guy, and TJ is definitely the content man.
I'm also just a talker, so
Billy knew. He set all this up. He was like, I know where this is gonna go. This is perfect.
Let's see. We can talk about more MCU coming up.
Please. I'm excited about one in particular, but you probably can't talk about it. But I'm a
I
huge Werewolf
can
by Night guy.
Ooh, very
Uh,
nice.
I
We
see. I
got
like
some.
that. See, that's the right answer. He's like, ooh, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay quiet about
Uh,
it now.
I'll mention this. So we know that we have Thor coming up, She-Hulk, and Black Panther too, or Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Oh,
All of those have been solicited out in the world, but one thing that I would like to share with you that I was able to share is we have been working on a series set, kind of like our hockey set. So it's going to encompass there's two versions of this set. There's a series 1 and there's going to be a series 2. The series 1 set is going to encompass everything Disney Plus. The series 2 set is going to be the cinematic side of things. So these two sets coming soon. The solicitations will be coming soon, but we're working heavier on just character forward sets in the MCU. And this one I'm really looking forward to. Of course, we're going to have our amazing inserts, amazing parallels. We're going all in on the foil boarding, numbered cards. You've got amazing exclusive autographs coming in these two. And if you mentioned Werewolf by Night, that is a Disney Plus show. I'm happy to
yes.
say it is in.
Okay, I'm freaking out. Like, what a great decision to move those two into series 1 and series 2. That was awesome. That was really smart.
Yes.
It's going to look so good bindered up. It's going to look so good as a full collection. I have to say that
Oh,
is like a very cool decision.
on top of that, this is going to be a living set. So where series 1
Oh,
stops, series 2 will pick up the numbering. Series 3, series 4 in the future going to continue on as we like it. So this
this
is
is
this is going to
smart.
be a fun one. I think the MCU side needed this, and I'm just really excited to be pushing this one.
It's smart. It's smart. We don't have a living set for MCU. Fred and Ian are doing a beautiful job on Unbound. It is doing a
Thank
great
you.
job. It's so wonderful. And it was such a good decision to have that set. I remember hearing about it and hearing the whispers of it going down. And I just thought it was such a good decision to have that week by week kind of EPAC presence, especially for that set and those characters, which people always tune in and get excited about. Between the sketches he does and the type of numbering and the type of foiling, I think it's really cool. I can't wait for that MCU. I think that's wonderful. That's great. I won't ask too much about it because I know this is kind of dropping in.
No
I
worries.
don't want to push and pry. But I love it. I'm excited about it. There's a lot of really amazing content on Disney Plus. I don't think people understand how wonderful it is.
Yes.
I'm going to say this on the side under my breath. You guys don't have to hear X-Men 97. I'm sure that's coming some way, somehow. I don't know.
You
That's a
going to
weird name to put
SDCC
out
at all? You
there.
going to SDC at all?
I will now.
Maybe
I
expect
will
something
now.
at San Diego Comic-Con. I will put that out there for sure. Honestly,
Amazing.
I had been working on a X-Men 97 set since last year. We kind of had to put it on pause, but we are allowed to bring it out to the world this year.
So that's awesome. Series 1, Series 2, MCU living set. This is so cool to hear. I whispered something earlier. You said it was lovely. I'm excited. I'm not going to repeat. I'm so excited about that. So that's a lot of really great MCU stuff coming out. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm,
All right. All right.
mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm not, if you have anything else, you tell me, but we can move on. You tell me. I don't want to pressure. I'm
Um,
already gushing and blushing, so I'm good.
we're we're kind of, let's
We're good.
see.
That's a lot.
We're
So
we're pretty good. We're pretty good. Just know that there's definitely more coming. Everything that they've released, we are looking at it, and whether or not it lives or dies, we question it ourselves, but we
yeah.
also have ways to kind of fit things into other sets.
And
Um,
I think people don't realize this. And just to give a little, so you guys don't have to say it, so I can say, because I know a little bit about this. Upper Deck's at the whim of others. So, ideas, everything can come there, and people get excited, design things, and then suddenly it falls through. That is
mhm.
not responsibility on UD's end. I think people understand that since the interviews, and people started realizing, because we were like, this idea is amazing. They would kill it. I know so many people over there that would love to do everything that we've ever talked about as card collectors.
Right.
Know that I've seen you guys recycle things, and I've seen you guys put things into other sets, because I could tell some inserts where I was like, oh, they were thinking about this, and you see it
Hmm.
pop up like in Flair or something. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Exactly.
that's awesome. So I always think
Exactly.
that's really cool. But the MCU stuff's amazing. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the signers you can get because you've been getting some amazing signers, which are
We
hard
have
to get.
a very awesome guy on the inside who has connections on the inside, so it gives us this opportunity to really solidify these deals that I don't think we've been able to before. So
I
it's
don't think a lot of people are able to. A lot of
ex-
things on other ends, and I'm not going to talk about other people, but a lot of things on other ends are not happening as often anymore in other
yeah,
IPs. And I don't think people realize that when they see MCU sets, they're like, this is not something that's easily obtainable. You know what I mean? So I think
it is.
people will become more aware.
It's very true. This the amount of kind of hoops you kind of have to go through too, especially if an actor has like likeness rights like that. That's a lot to deal with. So it's very impressive how fast our team moves and is able to get these just the top talent. Like we've been securing kind of main cast pretty frequently. So it's very exciting time.
It's so exciting. So I'm going to put something out there. I'm going to put it
Mhm.
out there. I'm going to say it. Okay. It's not
Okay, let's go.
possible. Who knows if it's happening, but I'm going to put it out there so we can giggle about this for MCU stuff and then get
Love it.
into some more publishing stuff. I'd love to see some sketch cards from the guy who's doing the concept art. RM is his
Oh,
initials.
Ryan Mandering, right? Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. An insert set with him and his stuff. You guys have put it on
Okay.
the boxes. You guys have teased a little
Okay.
bit. I'm
Okay.
loving it. It's awesome. It's a great way to merge the both. And I think he's such an iconic artist for the
I like that
mythology
too.
of MCU. I'm just saying,
Every
it's just a thing. I don't know. It's just
we'll
something
put
that
it on the
came to me,
list.
but it's on the list. I made the list. I'm very excited about making the list. Awesome. All right, so let's get into some publishing here. I don't want to ignore TJ here, even though we can talk surfers all the time.
Yes.
You'll get a lot of surfer talk over here. It's publishing,
Yeah,
so
I'm
don't
sure.
worry.
See, he's doing the good work right there. That's my boy. Okay, so what sets do you want to talk about a little bit? I don't want to throw anything out there because I know things
Sure.
are moving.
I can talk about it. I can talk about a couple right now. Flare, you brought up Marvel Flare. So 2024 Flare hits next month. So we could talk about that one a little bit right now, which is really exciting. This obviously going, I always think the 94 Flare is kind of like a benchmark for me as far as what I love about Marvel cards. And you look back on it and it still looks really cool. And I think spiritually, we're getting to do the same thing over here, which is a lot of fun. The base set on it's going to be fantastic. I mean, I always get excited when when I see the level of artists that we're going to have in it. Ty Romson was one of them. Oliver Harper is
Yes.
one. I always get really, really hyped though when guys and gals who draw the comic books get to come in and work on our products. Like Todd Nock, who's been longtime pal of ours over here at Upper Deck. I mean, getting him to do stuff is always an absolute treat. He's doing a 2-part story arc on Amazing Spider-Man starting this month. So the
Yes.
fact that he's working on Spidey books and still doing work with us is so cool. It kind of shows the equity between
He
comic books
has
and what are
to.
considered ancillary comic book product. It shows that trading cards are still an upper echelon product to bring people to the Marvel universe. So I
They
love
have
that.
to be. They have to be,
Hmm
right? I
It's the
mean,
gateway.
it's the gateway. I mean, I've spoken to Bob Budiansky, who is the creative director
He's
for
the best.
1990, the best
Yeah.
1990 Marvel Universe. He went to the Marvel bullpen just handing out assignments for characters. Like it
hmm
was not, it's Marvel card DNA is to include artists and writers who are making the subject matter into the cards because you're
Look,
right.
when we were all kids, I
Yeah.
mean, Eric Larson, who was the artist on Spidey, did the Spidey card on Series 2. You've got Jim Lee on the Wolverine card on X-Men Series 1. Like
So
it's
cool.
it's just the way, like Ron Lim does the Surfer card, I think in Series 2 and
It's
3.
yeah,
And then you've
it's
got Ron
amazing.
Lim doing the Excalibur cards. I know for sure he did Shadowcat
Yep.
on
That's a
Series
good one.
3, Art
I
Adams on
think.
the Series 1, which
Yep.
is my favorite
That's
Marvel
what's
trading
up.
card
That's
of all time.
such a good card.
all time. But
One of the best.
with Flair, sorry, you see, you think you can go on a
Let's
tangent?
do it. I'm here. I'm ready for this. We're all part of this.
Flair is going to be so much fun though, and like the Flairium cards are going to be gorgeous. Talking about artists who work in the comics, we've got Simone Bianchi, and then the legend himself, Tom Morgan, which is dope. But then we've got the usual Upper Deck suspects. We've got Dave Palumbo, we've got Noel Grego, Casey Parsons. So there's going to be
so
all
great.
of you're going to have that like level of artistry that you expect from us immediately. But then two of my favorite inserts in Flair. One is Splintered Facade, where it's a headshot of a character, but it's fragmented so that it's different
I saw it.
artists' take
Yes.
to make one headshot.
So good.
Like the Loki one I'm looking at right now, like on the right side there's a Kirby, and like it's so rad.
What's going to change the perspective. Like I talk about this on the collector series I do for character collectors. The main thing for Marvel card collectors to know are the artists, to understand the significance of what art they did when they introduced this character storylines.
Yep.
Like, I think what's so wonderful from you hearing from you guys and having this conversation is that knowledge for me is what makes someone actually collect this stuff and love it. You know what I mean? It shouldn't just be insert name, this or that or whatever. It has to come back to like the importance to this stuff, and 100% is these legacy artists.
My kind of my North Star when I'm building checklists is for me, comic books are everything. Comic books are my favorite thing, and I always try to make sure the mentality that I have is always the same. Every comic book is somebody's first comic book, but not everybody gets into comics through comics. Cartoons, movies, action figures, trading cards, whatever. Whatever brings people to the dance is that's the point. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And so like with a product that's coming like Fleer Ultra Wolverine, that's going to be amazing too, because Fleer Ultras are always just rad, but
They're great.
with a character like Wolverine, it starts off sounding like a solo Wolverine product, but then you remember, okay, well, there's the X-Men, then there's Alpha Flight, then there's the New Avengers, then there's, his,
Every
his
villain,
buddy
almost
ship with
every
Spider-Man, every
Yeah,
villain,
every
all of
villain.
it. Any character who pops claws, then, all these things. So then we get to do all the cool comic cuts in there as usual. Then there's, gosh, what else? The Ultra Stars, which you expect out of Fleer Ultra, is
Those are really beautiful, by
super
the way.
cool.
Yeah.
The medallions cards, obviously, the
Those are great.
Jambalaya, and the
I'm working on
character
a
selection.
medallion rainbow myself. Sorry.
Yeah, my boy.
No,
What's
please.
up?
The character selection we got for a product like Fleer Ultra Wolverine is really cool, because we have to look at Fleer Ultra Wolverine as it's essentially, it's a 14 plus product, but that also opened us up to a couple other characters that we don't always get to use. So that was a lot of fun. So
people listening to this need to understand how significant that is. Like, there are so many characters that are either first costume, first appearance to trading cards, and people don't understand that's the start of a great character collection, or a great segue into a character collection. It's awesome.
Well, think about this too. If you're going to talk about classic art that's in there, like as far as like publishing art cards, obviously you get your Herb Trimpeys, your John Burns, your Frank Millers. Then you get your Jim Lees, your Mark Silvestris, your Will Spartacios, all those guys. But then it moves all the way up to like your Ryan Stegmans and to your Chris Bachalows and all these guys and gals. So like there's someone for everybody in there, and that's what's going to make Fleer Ultra so much fun as far as the
Fleer
set
Ultra
goes.
is such a good set. I feel like I always have the most fun with Fleer Ultra. Masterpieces, I love, and everybody loves Masterpieces, but Masterpieces is like, please don't take all my money. You know what I mean? Like, leave me some so I can live in this cardboard box. Fleer Ultra is like, all right, I know I'm going to hunt. I know I'm going to be really surprised by every insert, and that's the exciting part. And I absolutely love that, and I'm so looking forward to the Fleer Ultra Wolverine. That's going to be really great. It's going to be so
Annual's
good.
always a blast.
Oh wait. Annual. Okay, you guys nailed it.
Thank
on
you.
the Pack War achievements for Annual.
Wicked.
Seriously. I have to be honest. Whoever designed that thing and thought of the circle and put the comic and pulled the image, someone really nailed that to my
That's
eye. Like I've
awesome.
been watching them and I've been quiet because I'm picking up surfers. But they're, by the way, Diego, if you need one, I have an extra for you. I will send you a silver.
I will take
Okay.
anything.
Okay. But someone killed that. It's just such a really good decision on those. They're
No,
really
That's
beautiful.
awesome.
I'm definitely glad to hear that. Annual is one of those products for me that really rewards you if you're reading comic books currently.
Yes.
It's still open for everybody because you can have people who are lapsed readers but get to see where their favorite characters are at the moment, or what new costume they're wearing, or if they're wearing the same thing, you get to see the new characters. Like Hallows Eve, who's a newer Spider-Man villain, she makes her debut in this, and she's such a fun, cool design. She totally looks, like Ben Cooper meets Spirit Halloween meets Spider-Man comics, and
Yes.
it's great.
So
So getting to have her in there is fun. Backscatters always stokes me out. Just
that's
being
so
a
such
kid
a
going to
that
like the 50-cent sticker machines.
and me it takes me back. And we all
Yeah,
collect those vending machine stickers from Pizza Hut. We all remember Pizza
Oh
Hut.
yeah.
for
Oh,
sure.
Pizza Hut. But we all remember pushing those quarters in and pulling those suckers out. And so when I first saw those backscatters, I was like, what? And then you
What?
put Around Limb Surfer. So I was a sucker all the
Yeah,
way. And then, of course, you put Kirby Surfer on there too, which is really scary. You guys just want me
totally.
broke. You guys don't want me to have any money. That's what it is. You're going to see a busy
We're
street behind me the next time we talk. That's going to be a problem.
we're
There are
purposely putting all these surfers in there just
Yeah,
for
I can
you.
tell. I can see. It's a vendetta. It's like I don't know who I upset, but that's okay. That's fine.
there are two upcoming Marvel publishing products though that I'm like super like insanely excited for. One of them is Marvel Beginnings Volume 2 Series 2. We've already started, soliciting that. That's been up on Beckett and all of that. They've been talking about it. This, is a living set, so it picks up right where the base leaves off on Volume 2 Series 1. This is this is the first Beginnings product that I built from the ground up. So character selection is all completely mine. It was
It's an
so,
encyclopedia. Beginnings is very much an encyclopedia DNA kind of thing.
yeah,
Like the first Beginnings, it's insane what the first Beginnings did because you had the cover series issues hand signed.
yeah,
Stanley. I mean,
Yeah.
creators like Hulk 181 had creators of that issue on that card with a COA on card. It's insane what they did for the original Beginnings. And I feel like this Beginnings, and I saw the solicitation, you're bringing out micro motions back, right? Stuff's happening
yes.
there. Are
Mhm.
booklets coming back for this one? I don't know if you can say. If you can, you can.
Nah, well, stay
We didn't say nothing. I don't
stay
remember.
tuned.
We're we're done. Don't worry about it.
Um,
So talk to us more. Talk to us about the inserts you're bringing up that you can talk about for beginnings, if you can talk about
so
any.
holograms obviously be in there. Micromotion obviously is going to be in there.
Oh wow.
I know,
Um,
right? It's so cool.
let me pull.
That's
You
so
know
cool.
what?
I mean, even I'm excited.
It's cool.
Uh, I,
What?
I, that's something I love hearing though. Is like when your buddies you work with are just as excited about the product as like the audiences, or even you building the checklist. It's you just want to see everybody just as excited and as passionate about it too.
People love
Um,
this. I mean, I don't think people understand.
you know what?
They
Yeah,
don't. You know what I mean? I don't think people understand. Like Marvel cards has really been everywhere. Like people,
yeah,
a lot were printed, but I don't think people take a second back about. Well, a lot were printed, but a lot were purchased too. Like
Hmm.
like everybody I talked to within this age bracket, and then what you guys did with the blaster boxes for platinum was genius. I haven't
thank you.
seen so many kids picking those up. Obviously, my kind are also terrible people in picking them up, but young kids are also enjoying them. And I see them having those moments. And I think that, like we've talked about this in the past, but at least Grant and I have, and I know you guys talk about this over there. It's wonderful, right? That's one of the best
That's
things possible.
So I'd like to touch on that because that's kind of what drives a lot of what we do is kind of that experience, and like we want that opening experience to be a great one, no matter what age group you're in, and no
Yeah.
matter like what product you're into, whether it's a movie or the publishing side. Hearing that the kids are getting into that, that's amazing. Like that's exactly what we're looking for. Is just like great
Yes.
experience for everyone across the board.
I love, and as an adult comic book collector and figure collector, card collector, I love that we all still love this, but nothing makes me happier than knowing that kids still have access to this stuff. I'm constantly talking all the time about adult readers are great, but young readers are what keeps comic books alive. And it's the same with our product. So making it accessible to kids and making sure that they are able to get it, I think is a win-win for everybody, and that's
Absolutely.
where the long-term audience continues to grow.
Cool.
Um,
Beautiful.
I will tell you with Beginnings V2S2, two that I can talk about. One of them I'm super excited about is we're bringing back Mega Splash Jumbo Clippings, which I love. Another one that I was like super duper all about, like curating and making sure it was the right autos and the right titles for splash pages. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Um, I
Damn,
won't
that's
tell
really good.
you. I won't tell you who the signers are, but I'll tell you what the non-auto themes are, just because this one I can at least give away a little bit.
You guys are sick. This is great. Go,
All
tell
right.
me.
So Mega Splash Jumbo Clippings #1 is Marvel Team Up.
So many good things there.
Number 2 is Wolverine.
Mm.
Number 3 is Strange Tales, so we can get our good Silver Age stuff in there.
Good stuff.
And then number 4, Silver Age and Bronze Age. So it's two very specific artists. I won't say, but you'll know exactly what eras I'm talking about. It's the Fantastic Four.
Oh,
So over the moon about that.
And TJ.
that's gonna hurt.
That's awesome.
That's gonna really hurt. That's
Yeah, especially when you see what issues of FF that I chose,
oh, you dirty.
because
You're so
there are
mean.
some that are going to
I
fit
didn't
two
do
of you
anything to
really
you. This is
well.
our first time meeting. How dare you, sir? This is amazing.
First of
This is
all,
really
how
great.
dare
This is
you?
very, very good. Very, very good decisions.
And
Very
then
awesome
Breakthrough
decisions.
Issues, which is our hard signed insert. I'm really
Great.
excited about that. I love getting to bring in the comic creators that we grew up reading and get them signing stuff that we still love, books that we're still passionate about. I will tell you one signer who was on there because we were lucky enough to have him sign all of his cards here at the office. And with the insane hotness of X-Men 97, Will Spartacio came in and he signed the card for Uncanny 282 First Bishop. So that was a lot of fun.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall on that one. That must have been so
amazing.
cool.
I got no work done for like 2 hours because all we did was talk comics. So it was amazing.
I love that. I was spent. That was the end of it for me. That's amazing. I would have been too. I would have been totally thrown. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, I don't think people realize there's levels to Marvel cards. This sounds dorky, but the more you understand about comics, the more you understand about your character, which is what we talk about on this show, the more depth these cards have, and the more history they carry, the more context they have, and it just enriches people's collections. I think, sometimes, I don't know, I think people forget that sometimes. Oh, the art's really cool. It's like, yeah, but there's something else to it that has to be really taken into consideration. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll give you one more publishing set then, and this is probably the one I'm most excited for, is Metal Universe Avengers.
Yes. Yeah. People have lost their minds. That is coming.
Well, I hope that everybody loves this set as much as I do, because I put like all of my heart into this, because anybody who has ever been an Avenger is in this set in some way, shape, or form. I will tell you now, there is the one Marvel character who, if I never saw him again, I would be fine. And I'm sorry, Marvel, I'm looking at you now, is Dr. Druid. And even he is in this set.
Damn.
Okay.
Deep
so
cut.
yeah, but like, you get your Quicksilver, your Scarlet Witch, you get your Hawkeye, then I get to be excited because I get Stingray and I get Jack of Hearts, and that makes me happy.
Stingray is such a cool character, and he's been everywhere forever. What is that? It's so awesome.
Has not changed since he first debuted in 1968, and it is still one of the best costume designs ever in comics.
So good. It's so maddening how good it is. It's so maddening. It's so simple. Like I don't know why I love it, but I do. It's so funny you said
I
that.
will
Wow.
pontificate forever about that costume, but the inserts on this are going to be amazing. Obviously, we've got, you know, a lot of the usual suspects in here. We've got, you know, geodes, we got palladiums, we've got, you know, the PMGs that everyone's going to be excited about, all of that. There is, oh, and then autos on
Wow.
this are killer. Like
Oh,
killer. There is one insert in particular. I'm not going to talk about it yet. When the product hits, we should talk about it. But it is
I'm in.
probably the insert that might be my most favorite of any insert that I have worked on in 2 years of being here, and it is the one that took the most brain power that I have, not for comic books. When I tell you it is the coolest insert ever, our type team, our copywriters working on that, one of them who worked on it, when I tell you, like, he came away just the best bios on it. He had so much fun. When you get it and you see why, you'll totally understand. But it's incredible.
Oh, I'm so excited because like you guys have put out some inserts recently that I'm like, something is happening here. Cause like, and they were always good, but something's changing. Like the creator autos from beginnings. What a great decision, by the way. The
Thank you.
border, the image on like that was, and then the way you guys named them too. I don't think people caught that, but you named him by carrot. That was, I mean, I was like, I was really taken back by that. I was like, this is really smart. And I have to say, they're really well made. The foiling's nice and simple. It doesn't overkill. Like there's some been. I'm excited you said that because I feel like what made Marvel and Upper Deck doing Marvel obviously really great is the boldness of the design, is the funness of the design, right? You look at the 90s stuff, you look at those designs and you're like, what is this? But I love it. Why am I so addicted to this thing? But it feels like it's everywhere and it's perfect.
Yeah,
Like I'm glad. I feel like the roots of all this is coming back, and I'm really excited about that.
Diego. I was
Yeah.
just looking at our solicits for Metal Universe Avenger, and that
Uh-huh.
insert that I love so dearly is listed in the solicit.
Yeah? You want to do it?
Do I give a
Look, he has
taste?
to get permission. This is the best. I love it. He's like, bro, can we?
I give you
Okay.
permission, sir.
Okay. So when I tell you it's my favorite insert I've ever worked on, like it's gonna
That's a
be
big
hard to
one.
top.
Yeah,
It's called Purely Periodic.
Oh, yeah.
And what we did was we took 90 Marvel characters and assigned them a spot on the periodic table of elements. And I spent a lot of time on this because I had to make sure that every element that I chose went with a corresponding character. And some of them are easy. Obviously, you know, helium for the Wasp and hydrogen for
that's
the
it.
Hulk. You know, Mercury for Quicksilver. You know, stuff like that is
Yeah,
easy. But then, you know, there are two where it took a lot of like thinking, were sodium and magnesium. And so sodium is Taskmaster because he's salty,
oh, that's a good one. I like
and
that.
Hawkeye gets magnesium because of his magnesium flare arrow. So
Yeah,
like there's
that's
a lot of deep thinking in here. But then what's fun is having to figure out who in the Marvel universe, because this is where I get to be like different nerdy on the noble gases. Who in the Marvel universe gets kryptonite?
ooh.
Ooh.
You know, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I am not. But I am gonna. I'm not gonna say it, but I am gonna say it. Marvel versus DC. I'm just putting it out there. One day it needs to come back. I know that's not up to you guys, but I love this periodic table thing. I loved
Thank
it.
you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it in X-Men Metal. I thought then was really great. I'm glad it's still here. I'm glad it's coming back with the same deeper knowledge as you're putting into it. I want to see the cards. I think I love that type of insert because it's part of metal. Like
Yeah.
whoever, you know what I mean? That is such an ingenious thing to do because it just keeps it thematically connected. I can't stand with inserts or cards are not thematically connected either to the IP of the set or to the IP of the character. Like it just feels like a red herring. It doesn't feel
When
like
I
it
tell
makes
you,
sense.
every character, when you look and when you see everybody that's on that insert, everything, there was no randomness. Every character had
That's
a
awesome.
rhyme and reason to get assigned what element they got assigned.
That's
So
important.
I think what
It's
I'm excited
awesome.
about is the conversation amongst our fans when they're trying to figure out, and I won't say why Spider-Man got the element that he got. So you will have to do your science to
We're gonna
figure
have
that
to
one out.
do a quiz episode or something, or some
Oh
kind of
man,
Easter egg
I still
episode.
have my notes, so when you want
I'm
to,
gonna send you a
I'm in
link.
there
We're
like
gonna
swimwear.
do like we're all three of us are gonna do this. I'm gonna bring in some other cats,
I
and we're
love
gonna
it.
go ahead and really talk about
I
this. I'm
love
so
it.
in for that. That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
We would love to come back for anything. If you
Oh,
Yeah,
want
you guys are
us
so
to,
nice.
if you want us to gush about sets, we're your
what a
guys.
terrible life.
That's it's a good life. I love it. Okay, so that's really a lot of that's on my list. I had small things that I want to
Yeah.
ask.
Okay.
Printing plates. I just wanted to clarify on printing plates a little bit. On Platinum, they're reversed. It's really cool. They got printed in reverse, which was interesting.
That's
Printing
interesting.
plates are so vital and so interesting for character collectors because they really are a piece of the production, right? And I think it's such a good thing that you guys do that stuff. Just give us a little bit on, if you probably maybe don't know, and I can cut this out. What was that decision? How were they made? You guys have had them since 2011 beginnings and then 2012 premiere. So it's been around for a long time now. But I guess I'm just talking to like they're plates that are used in the actual production, and then you cut the corners to put them in packs. Is that right?
This is exactly correct. So these are actually production used. You can tell by some of them have chips in them from the
Yeah.
runs that they were going through. They're all used on a transfer belt, and that's where they get put onto cards. So we cut up once we're done using the printing plates, which is a big sheet, 48 by 36, I believe. We cut those up around the corners so we don't want anyone to get hurt, and then
Yeah.
we pack them out as just something that I think collectors should have, especially if you're trying to chase your characters. Like this is getting a printing plate, which I have never personally done, is just seems like such an amazing thing to pull. Like it feels like I don't know, like you just pulled the world basically. You pulled a
I
part
like
of
them.
production.
I know. I feel the same way. I always talk to them like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Printing plates are like, it's like 1 degree away from the actual production of the card you love. Like I just
Yeah.
think they're so amazing. And I asked because I had some people posing questions to me about different inserts. So I just want to make sure I ask because we talked about the booklets, we talked about printing plates, we talked about the amazing sets. So thank you to both of you
Of
for being
course.
so generous with me and bringing
Absolutely.
those things up. I'm going to look at this video again and, of course, take notes because I'm very excited. I'm sure a lot of us will. E-Pack achievement cards. So this is one of the last things, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off here. And thank you all the lovely people out there for being here with us. Very gracious to you. Very thankful. E-Pack achievement cards. You guys are doing so much work with E-Pack achievement cards and doing such a great job with them. And I mentioned the annual Pack War ones, which I thought were just killer. On the cards, are you guys going to start eventually maybe putting your own logo that's an E-Pack achievement logo so people will know? Because on the cards, there is some difficulty. Like I take screen grabs off of UD's website. You guys keep a checklist there. So it's not like you can't find that information, but I
Yeah.
wonder if E-Pack cards will start having maybe a logo specific to an E-Pack achievement, because I think a lot of people don't understand how significant that is.
That's cool. Honestly, I don't know if it's been internally thought of, but I would love to bring that up to the team because it makes so much sense. Especially when you can't tell apart what's an achievement or not. Like you kind of want that visual cue immediately. I like that. That's
I
something
just think
we
you
could
guys have
operate on.
you guys have such a good opportunity with that name, E-Pack achievement. And so many of us on the outside here, collector wise, really hold those cards in high esteem. Like we understand how significant they are as an insert because they're probably some of the most scarce inserts to ever be made
Mhm.
because of the E-Pack platform, which I think is such a great space. Um,
Yes.
to have it on the cards, to have that legacy carry like a brand and stuff like that. And you guys already do it. Like it's easy to find this info, but I'm one of those weird people. I
No,
just think it's cool.
it completely makes sense. We're working on other EPAC only sets, so I wonder if it kind of makes more sense to kind of have those achievements stick out from the rest of it. So I like
They're
it.
so
I
great.
like it.
I like
I like it.
it. Well, it's really cool. I'm sure it's already in the works somewhere. I know you guys think about this stuff all the time, so I'm really happy about
Yes.
that.
What's funny is whenever an idea comes up, I always bring it up to upstairs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've been thinking about this for a while now. We just need a few more sign-offs." And I'm just like, "Oh man, I'm behind on this."
I feel like you guys are always ahead. I feel like I always mention something to Billy or Grant or somebody, and they're like, "Ah, "You know, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're already there. They're
Oh,
already
Grant,
there."
Grant specifically, he's already
Yeah.
in there, back again, and then went back for another journey for sure.
Oh my
Dude,
God,
he's
TJ,
all
can you hold
over.
up your own against Grant with comic book knowledge? I have nothing on him. Like he's a beast.
Yes.
TJ's
Oh,
Not
TJ's
to
you
toot
got
heard
it.
my
it
own
here,
horn.
Grant. Did you hear
Not
that?
Not to
not to
toot my
hype
own
up anything
horn.
here.
Grant and I, when we have comic book conversations, it is always so much fun because to everybody else, well, not everybody else, but to a lot of people here, when Grant starts talking comic books, it's almost like he's speaking Greek or something.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
so I'll come in with him. And when I first started here, I think the thinking was, okay, cool, he knows modern comics, we need someone like that. But then I'm talking, all this really cool Golden Age and Silver Age stuff, oh, well, what are we using for Captain America? Captain America Comics #1 or Avengers #4 for the first appearance, and things like that. And it's once he saw that, like, I could kind of hang with him as far as talking comic books like that, then it became a lot of fun because there's work conversations about comic books, and
Yeah,
then there's the off the clock conversations about comic
yeah, I'm
books.
sure.
And that's when
Yeah,
it comes into like talking about, well, what's the grail you're hunting for right now? Or, what's the book that keeps eluding you? Or what's your favorite story? Stuff like
what's
that.
the
And
one you thought you bought on eBay, but it wasn't really real of a dream? I've been
which
there.
we've
Got
we've
it.
all had that. Yeah. So it's fun being in a place like this where like most people would think, like with the sports side of what we do, there's more sports conversation going on around here. But when I tell you the entertainment conversations around here might trump the sports conversations, it's it's so much fun. It's just
See,
it's
It
really
really
cool.
is.
I'm so glad to hear that because that's always been because you guys have always done good work. And I've seen you guys put a lot of thought into things. And I've spoken to different people over the time, and I've met a lot of great Upper Deck employees. And I always wonder, I was like, man, I hope there's like a real basis for this. Because I've spoken to Grant, I've spoken to a couple of you, but I've never been there. I don't know what it's like. But I hope that's there in that DNA because I know it's a small thing compared to sports, but I have to say, from all of us Marvel card fans, I don't mean to speak for everyone, but just to put this out there, it's really important to us, and we love this stuff, and we love to
Yeah.
hear that you guys are so lovely and doing such good work and thinking through it. We really appreciate it.
I think it's just a matter of just timing as well. I think it's our generation has grew up with riding our bikes to the comic stores and picking up cards. Now we get
Yes.
to work on those cards and give them to the world, and I hope our passion shows through on it because it's a lot of fun. Let's be real, it's a lot of fun.
It's very cool. It's very cool to see. It's a lot of fun collecting, and I'm glad it's a lot of fun making it real too. And I'm glad to see all of the homages to Marvel cards and their greatness and everything like that. I just think it's wonderful the work you did. But I just
We're
wanted
not.
to thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I don't if there's any last things, words, anything you guys want to say, of course, I don't want to shut you down,
I
but
I
oh,
do have to kind of mention a thing. Maybe
oh
you
boy.
could kind of cut this into the UD series talk.
Ooh.
But Grant would be so mad at me if I don't mention this. But that series, series 1 and 2, is also going to introduce the rookie card, the MCU rookie card. And so if a character had an appearance in Phase 4, which is what series 1 and 2 are going to be covering, they're getting a rookie card. and they could possibly be getting an autograph with that rookie card. So we'll see what happens.
You work with this guy? This guy sounds dangerous, TJ. I mean,
It's
that's the
tough.
scary. Did you hear how he put that out there? That was a little.
Oh, he knows what he's doing, and like
I'm sweating here. Like it's a little too much, man. Like come on. He warned a guy here and there. That's too crazy.
That's the last of the heat. That one I had to
love it.
mention. Grant pushes that one hard, so I need to make sure I push that one.
Grant is so great at understanding the parallels between MCU and comics from when I've spoken to him. And it's just so great to have that here, because I don't think people realize that should be the same level of seriousness across the two brands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really should coincide very much and have the same terminology. So I think it's really awesome. That's awesome, dude. I'm so excited. Really cool.
I'll tell you real quick. The big motivator on any set that I work on, there are two things that I think about, and it's Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Venom. Characters like that are always going to be in a set, but I love making sure that if somebody opens up a pack and they get to see that Power Pack is in there, and like, oh my God, I loved Power Pack when I was a kid. And they're going to be excited to see them in there, or they're going to be excited to see Freedom Force in there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for is Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Venom. They're the constants. What are going to be the ones that you're excited to see because you're going to say, I can't believe they made it into the set. That is paramount for me. But the most important thing when I'm building a checklist, which I kind of feel is almost like antithetical to our industry, but I love big hits and I love the inserts. I love how much fun it is to get the autos and the clippings, because all of it's great. The thing that is most important to me is putting together, and in the 2 years I've been here, if you look at any set that I've worked on, you'll see this. The base set has to be awesome. If the base set is not killer, character selection, making sure it's iconic artwork, being able to dig deep in that. I do 50% female, 50% male. I try to do 50% hero villains. I'm always looking at it from that angle, because it's the only element to our cards where you're guaranteed you can get everything. All the other stuff you're going to be hunting and trading, and that's where the community of collecting comes in, which is great. But the base set, you're guaranteed to get it all. And you want it to look super, super cool in your binder, or if you're going to frame it or what have you. For me, the base set is everything.
It's the foundation of a set.
Totally.
If the base set's not worth putting together, then people are just going to remember the insert and that set dies. We've seen it, right? We've seen it in the history of Marvel cards. We've seen that stuff come to fruition where people are like, I just not interested in the base set, but I love this insert.
I'm trying to change that mentality.
It's a great way. It's a
I'm not
great
interested
decision
in the base set.
Yeah, I think it's a great decision. And there's something else you guys have done as well, which I'm just so impressed by. Grandioses, when you guys first came out with that, they're none unnumbered. And you guys did it, and everybody was like, this is like the best foiling. This is amazing. This kind of outdoes a lot of the smaller numbered serial number cards. And everybody was like, this is awesome because I can collect them all. And I can think about condition, and I can do all this stuff. And then you go ahead and put out the Blue Surge for Marvel Platinum. You devilish people. You guys killed that. I have the Surfer here, and it out rivals anything else in the foiling department of that set. I don't know why I'm so addicted to it, but something about it is so clean. Like, I don't know what happened there, but it was genius. It was great. It was just a good decision also to put it in blasters. Great.
You mentioned, oh, sorry, Diego, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I just have to agree with everything he says.
I got to bring up Platinum real quick because I'm just, number one, I'm just so excited to see the response that our audience has had to Platinum. It's such an exciting publishing set. Yeah. It's a perfect marriage of what makes Upper Deck artistry work so well and why we read comic books and love these characters. It's the best marriage of that. You being a Silver Surfer guy, though, I would be amiss if I did not bring up how excited I was to have Mike Allred do the Silver Surfer on there. And it's the only reason why Ron Lim didn't do Silver Surfer in that set. Is because Mike Allred did the Surfer.
Okay. I'm going to talk about this, and then we're done here. Okay, folks? I know I talk about Surfer. Every one of my
Sure.
viewers is like, this was supposed to be a perfect interview with Upper Deck, and he just had to talk about Surfer. The last thing I promise. You guys are amazing for putting Ron Lim in there. Ron Lim, amazing,
Awesome.
beautiful, great decision.
I
He my
love
boy.
that card.
Then
He
when you
is the
put
Silver
Allred,
Surfer for our generation.
he
Ron
is
Lim.
my Silver,
Absolutely. Not
my
Boom.
Surfer. He's my
Totally.
Surfer. I love Simone, but my Surfer, 100%, the one I first was introduced to, was Surfer. Was Ron Lim
Awesome.
Surfer. Then you went ahead and got sneaky, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to raise this up a little, and then you decide to put Allred in there, and then you put
So
Allred in there, and I was like,
so
someone's working there who knows how to torture me. And yeah, see, I knew we'd meet eventually.
That's
And you
the
have
guy. There he is.
Diego here to ruin his life too. So we're both mad at you
Yeah.
at this point.
I'm still trying to chase boxes. So
Oh.
yes.
So the reason I wanted Allred on Surfer, so the characters that Mike Allred got put on specifically were because of his run on FF with Ant-Man and She-Hulk and Medusa
Smart.
and all them.
Yeah.
But that Dan Slott run of the Silver Surfer, where it's basically just him writing Doctor Who with Silver Surfer, is incredible.
And
but
Dawn
it's
is such a beautiful character too.
Yep.
Like when does she have a card yet?
Not yet, but that's one that I want to make happen at some point. So
that's my boy. That's what's up.
One of the things that I loved was there is a quizzical nature to the Silver Surfer, the way Mike Allred draws him, that we haven't seen since Ron Lim and maybe prior to that Kirby. Where it's this like lack of understanding of the world around him for someone who traverses the galaxy. There are still things that are foreign to him because the power cosmic is so large and so big that things that are so small just there's nothing.
It was beautiful.
There's nothing there for him.
It was so good to pair him with Dawn, who's his female companion in this, and it is a Doctor Who-esque kind of thing. But
it's the Doctor and Rose right there.
So good. But like what they do with Dawn though, with Surfer was something you're right. We just haven't seen in a long time. Like you get a little bit with him and Nova and Ron Lim stuff, a little bit, but we've never had a Mike Allred Silver Surfer card either. So yeah, see, you're sick. You see, and I don't think I didn't notice someone decided to put Trad Moore Surfer on here.
Totally.
Okay.
Trad Moore had to be on there. Look, I grew up a really, really big fan of Madman by Mike Allred. So getting the opportunity and also not just to do Surfer by Mike Allred, but on
Doctor Strange,
Artist Corner, we also got and Daredevil.
Yes, that was genius. That was so good. So stupid good.
I just Mike Allred, I worship at the altar of him since I was like 14. So anytime
such a different take too. Like I don't think people, it's funny. People looked at the Surfer and they're like, who did that Surfer? And I was like, you don't know. You don't know. Because see, a lot of characters, people think about costume changes, but what they don't really think about is the artists who drew them and why they became significant to their story. I don't think it's there yet. I think eventually it's gonna get there, and I think that will be the conversation more. So the fact that UD is kind of getting behind that now kind of sets up the context for future collectors to look and be like, no, I'm only going to collect all Red Surfer, and that's it.
I love that you put it that way, because when everybody thinks the black costume for Spidey, first thing everybody thinks is McFarlane, but the truth is Ron Frenz drew that costume more and longer than Todd did. And so I think used Ron Frenz art a few times.
Yeah, I think it's the 1990 Marvel Universe is drawn by him too.
Yep. Absolutely. And
I've seen the original for that. We had it at New York Comic Con. I should have taken a picture for you. I wish I had known you, man. We a buddy of mine had it and we put it on display at a booth, and it was just
that's my heart right there. It's so good. But no, I could talk about this side of what we do
sorry.
forever and ever. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah,
we're passionate.
We're terrible. That's it. You guys are awesome. I kept you for an hour and 10 minutes. I'm a terrible person, a terrible host. I know you're busy.
We could go on.
Grant's going to email me. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. You guys are awesome. Thank you again, Diego, TJ. You guys are lovely people. This is so much fun. Do not text me so I can send you surfers, okay? And if I have something you need, TJ, you tell me.
No worries.
You guys are awesome. This is Character Collectors. Thank you all for joining for my 10th episode. So this is really fun. And Upper Deck, lovely, lovely people. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
You guys are awesome. Are you kidding?
Thank
This
you,
is
man.
so
This
cool.
was so much fun.
You guys
Yeah.
are so cool, man.